Yeah, we're going to see if Ostkaka can stop him in game number 3 because it's about to get underway. It's not a guarantee Zalae's going to bring it again, but I think there's a pretty darn good chance.
Yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, what do you know? He's playing it again.
Yeah, I fully expect to see him play it all 5 games if somehow this gets to a 5th game, unless Ostkaka starts to play handlock.
Just all 5 games. I mean, when Dog was queuing up handlock, he continued to play this deck. I don't think he really has a fear of it.
I mean, yeah, he's played so many games. I'm sure he's gotten to the point where he feels that the matchup is actually fine from there. He knows exactly what to do at every spot.
You know, I saw Zalae just stare into the camera like he's staring directly to my soul. I know you missed that lethal. Admirable.
Well, we both missed it, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, it looks like Ostkaka's going to get really aggressive this game.
Yeah, Hunter, I think, can perform against this deck at times. But the big story here is that Zalae's got a great curve for this. He's got Armor Smith, he's got Acolyte, and then he's got Deathspite. Yeah,
those are 3 of the pretty much most important cards in this kind of matchup.
Yep, so just going to start out with Leper Gnome. It does have the Abusive Sergeant to check this as well, though. So, you know, not the end of the world for Ostkaka, but certainly not the start he was looking for.
Yeah, this is exactly what he needs to get through here. You know, it's going to be a little inefficient use of his coin here. That is a Snake Trap.
Yeah, this is now the potential, you know, what he does with this game now may have just changed. I mean, if you're looking at it with Abusive Sergeant trade into the Armor Smith, he's got turn 3 and turn 4 Piloted Shredder, so, you know, that's obviously a very strong set of plays. But, you know, having the Snake Trap and then having Abusive Sergeant to trade those tokens up, that's not bad either.
Yeah, there are a couple different ways you can go here. I think having the double Piloted Shredder in his hand was, you know, the deciding factor.
Yeah, so we'll see exactly how Zalae adjusts to this one. I certainly think Acolyte Pain is coming down this turn, but the Inner Rage, does the Inner Rage change anything?
I mean, there's a possibility that he uses the Inner Rage just as like a tempo play here, taking out this Abusive Sergeant, and, you know, just has an Acolyte of Pain into play to check something forward, but I'm not sure if Zalae is, you know, ready to cash that in just yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really much different than a backstab in this situation, though. I think that turning your cards into, you know, certain kinds of cards, like with stuff like backstab, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with it either, but, you know, there's not many combo decks that need backstab to go off, you know, later in the game.
No. Backstab is a vital strategy to Freeze Mage.
All right, so you're going to see Zalae take his time, or you have to believe he's going to do something like Acolyte of Pain this turn. But, I mean, we've seen, you know, crazy things out of him before, you know, weird lines. But, yeah, he's going to save onto this Battle Rage just for later since he already has a Grim Patron.
Yeah, I mean, being at 29, I don't think he minds taking a few points of damage here. Deathspite, that's really the big one he's looking for.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be able to play a Deathspite next turn, really set up the Grim Patron next turn. He's going to be able to play Grim Patron, Inner Rage it, Deathspite from there, get the Death Rattle, and just hopefully the game's over.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to recover. I mean, we saw Ostkaka fall to that last game. Had no way to keep in check with that board pressure.
Yeah, it looks like this could just be a quick landslide in this match.
Yeah, not like the worst situation ever for him, though. I mean, let's just say he plays something like Glaive Zuka Coin Snake Trap here. Does that give him a lot of potential to push for damage in this game? He is going to go with Snake Trap and Abusive Sergeant. Now, is he trading in the Abusive Sergeant? This is the one I want to know.
I mean, I have to believe he's trading in here. You can't let Zalae get extra runs, but he is actually just going to push for damage, and you can see the grin on Zalae's face.
Yeah, he knows this is a beautiful looking position for him at this point. He doesn't know what this trap is yet, though, so that's the first thing he wants to figure out. Honestly, with the way that this position is lined up, there's a possibility that Zalae checks what this trap is first with Deathspite. Like, he may actually swing base with this, and then when he sees that it's you know, not freeze or that it's not explosive trap after that, he's got to decide whether or not it's something like Snake Trap or Freezing Trap afterwards. There's a possibility this Acolyte just doesn't attack this turn.
Yeah, you know, it could be Snipe. You never know. We've seen it a few times on HPL.
If there's one person that's going to play Snipe, I don't think it's Ostkaka.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't think that's in his range at all.
Yeah, I'm just going to check with the Deathspite first, and now this is the real decision. Is this a Freezing Trap or not is certainly the biggest thought that's going through his head, and then also the consequences of those things.
Yeah, I mean, does he want to check a Freezing Trap right now, you know, to let his Grim Patrons be ahead? Well, he can actually just leave this in play, next turn make a bunch of Grim Patrons, and then check it again, you know, the turn after that. But he's giving up a lot of tempo and a lot of damage that way.
He's also got to consider something like Eagle Horn Bow. You know, if he pops a trap now, his opponent can't get those extra charges. Whoa, yeah, look at this.
Oh, Freezing Trap picked up from Ostkaka. We might have some interesting things going forward from here, but if he does want to play Freezing Trap this turn, it leaves him with only playing Glaive Zuka, but he'll be able to trade up an Abusive Sergeant if he wants it.
Yeah, the big deal to me is if he plays the Freezing Trap along with this, I think it sends a much more solidified amount of information to Zalae that this is a freezing trap and the other one is a snake trap, considering the way this game is unfolded. So there's a possibility I think Ostkaka does something like trade here with like a Glaive Zuka or something, and then maybe Zalae just doesn't even attack with Deathbite.
Well, that's actually a really, really good point, because he's starting to get to where it's going to be awkward for him going forward. If this snake trap does go off, he's not going to be able to do any damage with the snake trap because of the Deathbite.
See, I don't like this set of the freezing trap here, because now Zalae is, I think he can be fairly confident that one of these is snake trap. This gives him an opportunity to proc that with Deathbite and take full advantage of that fact.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it here. He's kind of in deep thought. He's like, wait a minute, you just played a second trap and I attacked you? What is this? This has to, do you think Zalae is like, this has to be snake trap?
I mean, I think so. It just looks like, how could it be anything else right now? Like, why would he kill your Acolyte of Pain if one of these wasn't freezing trap? And then, I mean, I guess maybe it doesn't make any sense. Why would he set a second trap if it was, I don't know. This is sort of a weird situation. I think it's just, frankly, a mistake from Ostkaka.
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to see him make a bunch of Grim Patrons this turn. If he had a minion out, there's a very good chance you're going to see him really push this turn, try to get both the traps to go off, and then Harrison Jones and Ostkaka here.
Yeah, the other thing that's happening, too, is Zalae doesn't even have to fear something like Snake Trap. He knows this is an I mean, Zalae obviously thought this was Explosive Trap. That's why he didn't Interrage first. So, this did trick Zalae a little bit. The fact that it was so face up and looked like the fact that it's Snake Trap, it looks so bad from him. Zalae like literally just assumed that it was that it was Explosive Trap.
Now, what does this say to Ostkaka? He's like, you didn't Interrage like first? Like, this game just looks weird on both sides for both players now.
Well, from Ostkaka's sense, it's very obvious that he believed that this was Explosive Trap, and now the jig is sort of up. But at this point, how does Ostkaka actually win this game? He's staring down 11 points of damage on board, and he has 0 development.
Yeah, his 0 development, his traps aren't going to be able to help him out. I mean, he could take care of one of the Grim Patrons here, but he's going to be taking a lot of damage back. I mean, he could play a Piloted Shredder, but he is so far behind now that it's going to be really hard for him to catch up.
Yeah, I think it starts with trying to clear this up, but this is not the spot this deck wants to be in. It doesn't want to have to be clearing minions. It wants to be the one driving the action and forcing their opponents to deal with their threats.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you want to be pushing damage here. You don't want to be reactive. I mean, he's using his weapons here to clear minions and take a bunch of damage. This isn't what he wants to be doing with this deck. He wants to be pushing.
Yeah, and now Zalae going to have a fantastic opportunity to really take full advantage of the way that this board has been going. He knows one of these is freezing trap. He is like 99% positive the other one is snake trap. It's just, how on earth is Ostkaka actually win this game? Every option on the Zalae's side.
Yeah, you have to know that he knows the traps for sure. Now, I mean, there was a little, tiptoeing around the ice there for a minute, trying to figure everything out, but he's got to know it all here, and he's just trying to figure out the best way to proceed.
Yeah, snake trap going to be a major liability in this one. Grim Patron's going to just continue to chain off of those snakes. Just, oh, it's so ugly.
Yeah, and you may just see Zalae ignore Ostkaka's minions for the rest of the game.
Yeah, is going to go for the first one here, though. I don't blame him on this. Again, if and when this is snake trap, it just is a disaster for Ostkaka, because again, he just starts chaining the Grim Patrons. Now, the one thing that Ostkaka does have on his side when this happens is that if Zalae's board gets full enough, maybe like an Unleash the Hounds can pull him out of this.
Yeah, maybe an Unleash the Hounds can pull him out of this. Now, Ostkaka, there is an opening for him to get back into this game a little bit here, since Zalae's Grim Patron now costs 7 that's in his hand. If he picks up, that is unbelievable.
That's the second time we've seen that happen in 2 nights now.
Yeah, it happened to Jab, and it completely blew him out against Show in Game 5.
Ostkaka's not, he's just fed up with it. You see him all smiles, but that one's got to feel brutal. I mean, he's just going to scoop this up. I mean, it just looks and feels demoralizing.